Hi, my name is Selena Hunter, and this is my Community Corrections Project Part 10. So to explain this part of the project, I did do a PowerPoint presentation to go along with this video, which I'll submit on Canvas. I'm going to do this presentation reading off of this PowerPoint, not necessarily reading, but presenting off of this PowerPoint, and then I'll submit the PowerPoint on Canvas as well as with this video with the written proposal also. So for this project, I'll go ahead and tell you which slide I'm on as I'm clicking on that slide so that you're not confused at all. So for the first slide, it's just the introductory slide. It tells you this is my Community Corrections Project Part 10 for Baker College Online Criminal Justice Course 1810, and then my name. So for the next slide, which is about this project in particular, Part 10, I have to present all parts 1 through 9 of the Community Correction Project and summarize my chosen program, and then make a case for continued and long-term funding for my program. So my program was to develop a program for police, probation, and corrections officers who are dealing with personal and family problems while maintaining their jobs. This is a very stressful job, being an officer. So to deal with those stressors, I think a program like this would be very helpful. It's basically a therapeutic program to help officers be able to talk to people of a neutral mind in a neutral environment, so that they can help to handle their stressors and then be more effective on their job. So for the third slide, which is about Part 1, I have to choose a city to place my program in. I chose El Cajon, California, because I did actually live there before, so I actually didn't have to do as much research as I thought I was going to have to do, just because I did know a little bit about the city. I learned actually a lot about the city. I didn't know that there was as much criminal justice presence as there actually is, which is great, just because the city isn't exactly the safest. For this part of the project, I had to examine a 12-block radius of where I decided to put my program. And I did decide to put my program in Center City, and I'll explain that here in a second. So in Center City, I decided to put my program there because there are, right in Center City, there's a police department, a sheriff's department, a jail, there's a correctional facility, all right there. And I decided to put my program there just so that the criminal justice officers who are working there could conveniently go to the program after work or before work or whenever, just so that it is close to their work. They don't have to worry, in this large city, they don't have to worry about running into traffic just to get to and from the program in an inconvenient way, wasting their time, that kind of stuff. So the city is large, has 103,186 people, and then it does have a large police presence because of the poverty rate and high crime rate. The poverty rate is 21.7%, which is high, which is also linked to higher crime rates. So the crime rates are higher, the police presence is higher, so the stress is higher because of the higher crime rates. So I think this program would really help this city in particular. Slide number 4 is about Part 2. So for Part 2, I had to create a mission statement, goals, objectives, and a written proposal for the program. I had to talk about what the program is, who the program will support, and services provided by the program, how it'll support the local community, why the local community should support the program. My mission statement was, we seek to promote a positive sense of self and self-esteem so that our clients can be happy in their homes while simultaneously keeping our community safe. These officers are stressed. They're stressed because they're having to deal with all of this stuff on the daily at work as well as at home, and they're working long hours and that kind of stuff. So this program will promote a better sense of self-esteem. We're there for them to talk to. We're there for them to vent to, kind of, and then we're there to help them deal with those stressors and give them different ways to handle those stressors. And then the goals and objectives of this program is to help our clients identify goals and solutions to their personal and familial problems, improve client relationships, and give our clients relief as their careers are stressful enough. And I basically just explained that about how they could utilize this program to find new ways to handle their personal and familial stressors. My written proposal is that the program will help officers of the criminal justice type who are dealing with personal and family problems while maintaining their jobs. Again, their jobs are very stressful enough, so they need something there to help support them. They're not getting support anywhere else. Their families are struggling with their hours and all of that kind of stuff. They need someone there for them specifically, help them with their stress. So for slide number 5, which is about Part 3, I had to go over the employment opportunities within the program. So I basically listed the different jobs that are needed within the program, what each job is, why it's needed, who the person in that job will directly report to, descriptions of the jobs, requirements for the jobs, pay rate of each job, and I had to explain all of those things and more. So just the people I will need for the program to be successful. Slide number 6 is about part 4, which is where I had to create case files for 3 people in the program who are actively in the program and provide all of the necessary documentation for each person. This documentation was it was made up by me, and the instructor provided the documentation. So I'll submit that as well as with this presentation on Canvas so that you can see that for yourself. Slide number 7 is about part 5, and that's where I created a budget to show how I'll fund the program and how to get it started, as well as 2 letters asking for the support for monetary funding of my program. Basically, I created a budget showing what exactly I needed for this program to be successful, all of the startup fees, the building fees, bills, that kind of stuff, paying employee salaries, and all of my equipment and supplies, and why I need all of those things and how much it'll cost, basically, so that I could determine how much money I'll need for the program to be successful. So slide number 8, which was about part 6, was to create surveys for the community about my program. I actually did this part of the project. I thought it'd be kind of fun to get people to actually do this. So I did do this in actual real life. I created a survey of, I believe I did 12 questions, and I had to do anywhere between 12 and 15 with total 25 surveys total. I had to present positive and negative feedback from the surveys and then determine if the community would actually support my program. So for this, my survey feedback mostly said that it mostly said good things, but there were a couple of things that the community was concerned about, like that there wasn't enough evidence to support that the program would be successful, which I understand. This program's not real, it's not in real life, and there's not been any research done on if this program would actually be successful, so I do understand that. And this did make the community members question if they would donate their time or money to the program, because if they can't see the success, the potential success rate of the program, why would they donate their time and money? I wouldn't either, to be honest. But then another concern was if the program would be better if it accepted some other form of payment. Some people mentioned getting insurance companies to help pay for this, kind of like a doctor's office. So they did mention that, and I actually did include that in my project later on. I added that in to give me some more monetary support. And then a lot of people said that it would help so that the program didn't have to rely so heavily on the government funds or donations, and which would be nice, because then the program wouldn't struggle as much. And because it was supposed to be a nonprofit, I think it would have struggled a little bit. Another thing was that the program could use more staff members to better support the clients. Well, with the new funds from charging insurance companies, we could get more staff members on the floor. Everyone thought that because this was a larger city that the number of staff members that I listed was not going to be enough. They thought that I would have too many clients and not enough staff, and I only had 1 doctor on my list for my staff members, and they thought that was kind of not a good thing, because clients should be able to choose from more than 1 doctor so that they have options, which is great. That was really good feedback, and I did add that into my project later too. So, but the community overall unanimously thought that the program would benefit the community members. You know, the criminal justice officers are getting the help they need to deal with stressors, so that they're coming into work stress-free. If they come into work stress-free, they're going to be able to handle the community members a bit better on a lower stress level. So I think that the community members were pretty happy about that. And then to move on, slide number 9 is about part 7, which was the revised budget with a 10% budget cut. This was hard for me. I had a hard time cutting back my budget, because my budget was actually a little tight to begin with, but I did revise the budget with a 10% cut. I couldn't really cut from the building cost or like the bills or anything like that, because those are kind of things that are set in stone. But I did cut the budget from like the pay of the employees, which sucks, because a lot of employees, if you cut their pay, aren't going to want to work there anymore. You'll have to hire someone new, or they'll get a better job paying more somewhere else, which is okay. And then I cut from the startup costs and from supplies. I did have a miscellaneous budget in there that was pretty high. I cut a little bit from that too. So I wanted my clients to be able to have a positive experience from the time they walk into the door until the time they leave. And I think cutting from those areas will help make it won't affect the client as much. It'll mostly just affect the people working there. And then for slide 10, which was about part 8, is to state if the program will be successful based on the feedback given in the community surveys. So the community surveys did say that the program will succeed in its goals, but have financial difficulty if not properly supported. And I did change that in my project. I did find other monetary means to support the program, which was money from the insurance companies, so I wouldn't rely so heavily on government funds or volunteer work. And then how will the program move forward while keeping or gaining community support? I expanded the program with the new financial means, and this would allow for my program to expand and be larger for the larger city and to hire more staff members and accept more patients. I can hire more doctors so the patients have more to choose from. I can hire more staff members so everything flows a little easier, and then I could accept more patients because of this. And I think that will help my program exponentially. And then I had to do a reaction letter from the local law enforcement and local courts stating if they would support the program. And to be honest, anything helping criminal justice officers or criminal justice professionals in general with their stress or anything related to their personal lives is appreciated by criminal justice professionals. So my reaction letters from local law enforcement and local courts did support my program, just because I do believe that they would support a program like this, especially with just even the little bit of amount of work that I've put into it. So they were excited because there's not a program like this that exists in this area. So for slide number 11, which is part 9, it was about how will the program be evaluated for success, about informal evaluations and formal evaluations, and who should be notified of the evaluation's income and why. I think that any evaluations done, the people who are putting money towards the program should be notified of the evaluation outcomes, because they're the ones putting money towards it. So if the evaluation outcome is negative, maybe they want to withdraw their money a little bit from this program the next time that they are due for, adding more money to the program. Or if the program's doing really well, or even just doing a little well, they might want to give even more money to the program so they do even more well. So for me, the program will be evaluated for success once a quarter or more often. Someone from the program will walk through, kind of like an auditor, but not really. But they basically see the things wrong with the program, and then they give the program leads deadlines to fix those things so that they don't mess anything up during the formal evaluations. The formal evaluations should be done at least annually or even quarterly, so that the people who are giving money to the program can see that this program is successful and why it's successful, so that the funds for the program are constantly being monitored. And then for slide 12, moving on to slide 12, is wrapping up this criminal justice part, our community corrections projects, part 10. So I summarized my chosen program, and I made a case for continued and long-term funding. I do think this program will be successful, and it will help the community exponentially. The community will appreciate the criminal justice professionals that they come face-to-face with, if not daily, at least monthly. I can't tell you how many times I've been pulled over or had interactions with police officers or other criminal justice professionals. And most of those interactions, every once in a while I'll get one that's a little jerkish. And I think that if those people are helped with their stressors, that maybe they would act a little differently towards me and give me a better, more positive experience. And I do think that the criminal justice professionals utilizing this program will have less stress on the job because they are less stressed in their personal and home lives. So I think that the funding for the program, during the evaluations, it'll be proven that the funding is successful and that more people are going to want to fund the program because of the success rate of the program and the proven stature of the program. So I'm Selena Hunter, and this is my Community Corrections Project Part 10. Hope you enjoyed.